Today I'm showing you how to make ceramic canisters that you can use in your kitchen for day-to-day storage. I also use these canisters for storing things like charging cables, memory sticks, and even house keys. There are a few steps I'm going to take to make sure the lids on these canisters fit perfectly. I'll cover these 3 steps in this video. So let's get right into it. So for the larger size, I'm using 1.5 kilos of clay. It seems like quite a lot, but as you may have guessed, I'm making the canister with the lid from a single piece of clay. So now I center the clay. I'm using a slightly groggy mid-fire yellow clay that has a lovely warm hint when fired. And now I'm going to push down into the clay and open out. I want to leave enough clay in the base for a simple, not too deep foot ring. And I open out straight across the base. Then I compress and remove any excess water. So now I'm ready to bring up the walls. I'm keeping my hands linked together here and using my knuckle to bring the clay up. I want to keep the walls slightly angled towards the middle of the pot as it gives me the most control. I'm thinking about the structure of the walls, a little thicker at the base and coming up, not making them too thin. I need a little extra thickness for cutting the flange. So I'm bringing the top of the pot inwards. And I start to gently collar. So I'm just gently squeezing the neck of the clay inwards. And then I pull a bit of clay up just to compress and thin the clay slightly. And then I collar some more. And now I'm closing over the top. I remove that excess bit of clay at the top. And I push the clay together really well, making sure there's a good join. I'll get back to shaping the lid in a moment. I want to trim a little of the clay from the base. And I straighten the sides of the canister using a rib. Now back to the lid. I press down and flatten the top. And then I use my flexible rib to shape and compress. The air trapped inside the form helps with the shaping process. And now it's time to define the lid and flange. So I've cut myself a small square of hard plastic that I'm using to push into the side of the canister. The clay above the flange forms the lid. The flange sits on the lid and it will fit into a galley on the body of the canister. I'm pushing in about 5 ml. And then I set aside to dry to leather hard on the bat. Now I'm going to do the first stage of trimming on the bat, so I haven't wired through yet. I tidy up the flange and define the edges. And now I cut the lid off by cutting at the base of the flange. You want to be ready to catch the lid as you cut it off. So now I'm ready to trim the base of the canister. I even out the top and then trim a little to form the galley. And now I upend the lid and I trim a little around the flange. I'm using the canister as a chuck to hold the lid here. And then I smooth the flange. Now I wire through, but we're not quite done yet. I upend the canister and I trim a simple foot ring. I'm using the leftover pad of clay on the bat to hold the base, but if you need to, use lugs of clay to hold the base in place. So I trim straight across the base. And then I round the bottom edge of the canister. And then I mark out my foot ring and then trim up to the inner edge of the foot. Now, when I dry my canister, I'm going to make sure that the lid is on the base. This will help prevent warping. And then I bisque fire and glaze. Once again, this helps ensure that the base and lid fit perfectly. And then I glaze. It's important to make sure that the surfaces that may touch on the lid and the base are completely free of glaze so that your lid detaches. Then I set it together and, once again, fire it together. If your lid and base do fuse slightly, give them a gentle tap to dislodge. So let's recap those steps. 1. Make your canister in one piece. This ensures a really good fit. 2. Dry your lid and canister together. 3. Fire your lid and canister together. So making pots that I can use every day is very satisfying. For more useful everyday items, check out my Making Tableware playlist. Stay tuned and subscribe for more videos, and as always, happy making!